Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site. Links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and that's Seether's latest track, Nothing Left. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So after enjoying their last single quite a bit actually, I must admit I'm getting pretty excited for this brand new Seether record. I never saw myself really saying that coming into this year. They're a group who I've never really actively followed, but I've also had a great deal of appreciation and respect towards, and they are one of the most underrated acts from that early 2000s, late 90s period, and thus they keep proving to us why they are one of those underrated groups. So shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, yet again, I actually think it's fairly decent, and I'm over the moon to have finally heard a rock song that has been released this year that isn't overproduced to heck. It does sound identical production-wise to that nu metal golden age, which isn't actually one of my favorite ages when it comes to production, but I actually really enjoyed the aspect of it. It just made the track seem a little more genuine and rough around the edges, which it should do. I think the vocals are diverse and flexible here, being both melodically strong as well as throwing in some harsh vocals when needed. I think that helped a lot. For a three-piece group as well, they managed to create an incredibly thick, distorted texture on each track, and that doesn't change here either. Production-wise, the track does sound like a hard rock track really should. The guitars are heavily distorted without much gating, sounding rough and aggressive throughout. The bass is thick and wholesome, but lacking a little bit of edge to it. But for me, it did the job. The percussion isn't as emphasized as we'd usually hear, but again, it does the job, and it does add this violent twinge into the backing of this track. It's the vocals that impressed me the most though, as they've been left largely organic and natural. Usually vocals are really gated to heck at the moment, especially in the rock world, and it was nice to hear something a little bit different. We never hear this approach to any rock music anymore around at the moment, and that makes me kind of sad. So all in all, it's one of the better production cycles we've heard this week. Moving on to the musicality of this track, it's a fairly simple formula that has been executed in a really sharp manner. The riffs are mostly just strummed power chords. The vocal melodies are slightly reminiscent of their older World Turns to Grey approach, and I really enjoyed that. It's one of my favorite sort of eras of Seether. The bass is made up of a different root note sort of strum pattern, so I guess it was just your usual sort of strumming bass line. And the percussion has a few fills, but nothing too special really. It's not going to set the world alight, but it does give you everything you're really hoping for going into this track, what you're really expecting, I guess. We have a strong vocal performance in here, a memorable hook, an eerie atmosphere that's created, a nostalgic production, and just a really fun time. I don't see me listening to it in, say, like 2-3 weeks time, but I think for Seether fans, they're going to really enjoy it. And I think if it was put on in the background, I'm certainly not going to turn it off. I'm probably going to hum along to it. They just sound as strong now as they ever have done, and for that I can really nod my head and tip my proverbial hat. Lyrically, the track is actually fairly decent, and even though it has got some generic phrasing in the chorus, as you usually do in hard rock tracks, I actually thought the majority of the track was well above average. So all in all, it's a great fan service track, and it does its allocated job, which I gave a G rating of 6 out of 10 for, which might sound a little bit low, but it is above average and I did enjoy it. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye-bye.